I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Kelly's one-strike pitch. Swinging a fly ball, center field deep. Bellinger going back to the warning track, to the wall. It's a grand slam! Howie Kendrick has done it! They're going crazy in the Nationals dugout! Howie Kendrick with a grand slam here in the 10th inning of Game 5. The Nationals 7, the Dodgers 3. Do you believe it?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait. Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
Good morning. Welcome to the Manic Juneteenth Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Yours truly flying solo for the time being. And I've had some very interesting conversations over the course of the weekend. We're going to answer the question, at least I'm going to answer it my way. Is Steph Curry, yes, that's Steph Curry, a finals MVP, finally, finals MVP, Steph Curry. That one, the one that changed the game forever before LeBron ever got a chance to. Is he finally in your top 10 of all time? That's the question. That's one of the questions, I should say, we're going to answer this morning. Maybe a short version, depending on. This is actually a national holiday. Juneteenth is actually a national holiday today, so we may only have a couple of hours. I may only have a couple of hours here with you, but I am going to bring on Chris Dietz here. You know what? We're going to bring him on. I'm going to bring him on now. I'm going to send him the broadcast link, and I promised him on Friday that I'd let him have an hour because we got some stuff, and I'll just say it that way. We got some stuff to discuss when it comes to one Deshaun Watson. Who's guilty? Who isn't? Who should be held responsible? It is colonized contention that Deshaun Watson put himself in that situation, but then again, so did the Houston Texans. And according to an article that Dietz sent me per CBS, it reads as follows, quote, after spending more than 15 months investigating Deshaun Watson, it appears the NFL is getting closer to doling out a possible punishment to the Browns quarterback, and it could be a big one. According to the Washington Post, as Dietz jumps in and says, what do you mean? What do you mean finally? Well, Dietz, I'm just reading what's in front of me here. And I'm going to wait for him to pop on here in just a moment. The NFL is going to argue. Oh, he was talking about Steph Curry being in the top 10. My mistake, Dietz. The NFL is going to argue that Watson deserves a significant suspension. He is currently facing 24 civil lawsuits that allege allegations ranging from sexual misconduct to sexual assault. Although Watson isn't facing any criminal charges from the cases, 2 different grand juries in Texas have declined to press charges. He can still be punished by the league for violating the personal conduct policy. And that's the policy that I harped on. That's the policy that I looked at. Okay? That's the one where I made my argument. And Chris Dietz is ready. Gonna bring him on right now. And I know he's got some bombs to drop this morning. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Morning, Snowman. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Let's jump right into this. And I said this would be an abbreviated version of the show. I've wanted to have you on to talk about this. I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead and drop your bombs, my friend. Let's go.
All right. And you referenced the article that I sent you. I also did some digging on this topic. And for those of you out there, you want to find out everything you want to know about this Deshaun Watson case, just Google Deshaun Watson punishment in your in your trend, the New York Times article comes up and they spell everything out perfectly that you need to know. However, they fall into the trap, and it's the same trap that everybody's falling into when we bring up this. And we have to go back. We have to take this step by step. And the first step we have to say is no one is looking at this criminally, okay? Deshaun Watson has been looked at criminally, and it has been expunged twice. It's been thrown back in their face twice, saying there's not enough here. Let's move on. So we're not talking about criminal, whether Deshaun Watson is criminally charged of whatever.
Correct.
So the second step of this is this what's morally correct? And that you have to answer. Now you have to answer that yourself. The other thing about this is that everybody says is, well, Deshaun Watson has violated and I'm trying to put it in the exact terms of the NFL, but have they violated the terms of the CBA, where are they a detriment to the league? And that's where this whole thing falls apart to me. Is look,
the whole thing,
I'm okay
with that sounds more suggestive than anything else, doesn't it? That sounds more suggestive than anything else.
Yeah, but I'm okay with if you look at this and you say, all right, Deshaun Watson has been a detriment to the league. If you look at that and you say that that's okay, all right, we can agree with that. However, if you're going to say he's a detriment to the league, what about the Houston Texans? How are they not a detriment to the league in this? How are they not complicit in this? How are they not the ones? Because if you go back and look at this, we're starting with all
How
of
are
this.
how are they not punished and flogged openly for starting this after Deshaun Watson said he wanted out?
Well, I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to go back further than that. I'm going to go further than them starting this whole shebang. All of these cases that we're seeing, some of them started in as early as 2017. Okay?
Yeah.
Where were the Houston Texans in 2017? How were they not on top of this then? Okay? That's
Correct.
the first thing. And people can say, oh, they didn't know, they didn't have to know, they didn't know this. Let me just give you a history of the National Football League for a minute. There was a player who went to the Indianapolis Combine as a collegiate athlete wanting to join the NFL. And there was an NFL executive that literally said to him, and I quote, how do you feel about your mom being a sex worker? So the reason I bring that up is you're telling me that league officials can find out occupations of prospects that are coming in. But the Houston Texans have no idea what's going on with their quarterback.
Right.
Drawing. I'm that a league that can find out the most diabolical information about people and use it against them when they want.
Yeah.
Can't find out about any of this that was going on. They can't find. They can sit there and claim we didn't know anything about it.
I ain't buying it.
You can't do it. You can't claim. You can't claim innocence here. You can't claim you didn't know anything. And if you didn't know anything, at worst, it's absolute negligence on your part to not know that this was going on with your starting quarterback. Okay? So that's where we start. Second thing that I learned from the New York Times article, which is crazy, is that when these massages were being done all of these ones that are in question, a letter, Matt Walker, at the disclosure letter that the masseuses had to sign, that was from the security department of the Houston Texans. So if you're going to claim you didn't know, how did your head of security give a disclosure letter to Deshaun Watson? How did that happen?
Yeah.
So then the Houston Texans can't sit there and claim we didn't know anything about this, because clearly someone in your organization did. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been a letter. It wouldn't have been given to him at the facility.
Right. Absolutely right.
If you keep reading and you keep reading more about these cases, some of them happened in Deshaun Watson's house, but eventually Deshaun Watson got to the point where he was like, you know what? I don't want this going on in my house. So he needed a place to go. Well, where did he get a place? The Houston Texans provided him a place that he could go to receive to where he could receive these massages. So again, if they claim they did not know anything nefarious was going on, if they didn't claim they didn't know anything about this, why did they give him a place to go?
Right.
These are all the questions that are out there because they have claimed they don't know anything about it. Okay? Now, and of course, you just brought it up. They are the ones that dropped this bomb on everybody because Deshaun Watson asked to be traded away from their organization. So in that line, even if you want to sit there and tell me, well, the Texans haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. You're telling me that them dropping this case is not a detriment to the league? Them hiding all of this is not a detriment to the league? So if you want to suspend Deshaun Watson, if you want to suspend Deshaun Watson, go right ahead. What I'm saying is, if you want to do that, it needs to be double. It needs to be double what if you want to give him a year suspension, then you need to give the ownership of the Houston Texans a hefty fine and a suspension. They can't be anywhere near the team. If you want to give Deshaun Watson a year, you give Bud Adams 2 years.
Give him 2 years.
Because they're the reason for all of this. And they could have easily nipped all this in the butt. They could have easily nipped all this in the butt way before it got out of control.
But something you often say, Dietz, this is the NFL we're talking about. And referencing Cole, we're talking about the shield. You know, and it just frightens me that they won't suspend anyone from the Texans organization's front office for engineering this. And I'll repeat what you said just a moment ago. If you're going to suspend Deshaun Watson 1 year, then you got to suspend the front office of Texans 2 years. And I will add 2 words, at least, for dropping this and engineering all this.
And on that note, where's DeMaurice Smith? Where is the NFLPA in all of this? Because these are the things that DeMaurice Smith should be out there. One, he is the head of the National Football Players Association. The last time I checked, Deshaun Watson is still an NFL player. So he is still a member of that organization. The job of the NFLPA is to be the go-between between management, which is Roger Goodell, and Deshaun Watson, the player. They should be right in the middle, making sure everything is being laid out. The entire point of the National Football League Players Association is so that players are treated equally to management.
And fairly.
Where's the equal treatment here? Where's the equal treatment? Because it seems like, and every time somebody talks about Deshaun Watson, all of the blame is put on Deshaun Watson. The entire blame for this situation. this is Deshaun Watson, and look, I've said this on my show. I've said this on Fifth Down Sports Show. I said it when this first came out, when it was 6 girls. Okay, I said I've said this from day one. If any one of these allegations against him is true, he's a monster. One allegation, he's a monster. Okay,
right.
At this point, they're all allegations. And they're mounting up to it's mounting up to where it's insurmountable. But at the same time, I'm not excusing Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson should be let off the hook.
And that's what people need to understand. That's what people need to understand. We're not excusing Deshaun Watson at all. What we are saying is that you can't excuse the Houston Texans organization either. And I'll repeat what you said just a moment ago, and y'all need to listen carefully. Gentlemen, you need to listen carefully. One allegation turns truth, that does indeed make him a monster. And there's just so much more to unpack with this. The floor is yours again.
And that's where this goes. That's where the media is throwing this all on Deshaun Watson. And you have guys, you have professional guys out there, and I'm gonna throw people under the bus because I don't care. You have guys at Pro Football Talk. You have guys at Pro Football Talk like Mike Florio, who is a known reporter, throwing Deshaun Watson under the bus and has not said a damn thing about the Houston Texans. Has not said anything. He has been. Mike Florio actually wrote He wrote a huge thing on Pro Football Talk, and they referenced it in almost every article I read. They reference it about his reporting and about how it could be as lengthy as 2-year suspension for Deshaun Watson. Not a word about what should happen to the Houston Texans, because this is outrageous. This is outrageous. It's people saying, you know what? I don't need Deshaun Watson, but I need the Houston Texans because I need to get my information from them. I don't care. I don't care about getting information from them. What I need is them to be treated fairly. And if you're talking about Deshaun Watson, if you want to throw the book at Deshaun Watson, go right ahead.
Right.
But also throw the book at the other people involved, as in people that covered this up from day one. And we can go back and use we can use precedent here. And I know it's not the NFL, but we can go to college football, where, if you remember, 2 years ago, Urban Meyer's a coach under Urban Meyer was caught in a domestic abuse. And what happened? Urban Meyer was pulled in. Why? Because he should have known, and he didn't report it, and because he covered it up. Urban Meyer was pulled into this because of the cover-up. The same thing with the Houston Texans. If they didn't know, they should have, and if they didn't know, that's negligence on their part. But as I've already stated, they can find out.
I'll add a word. I'll add a word. Gross negligence. Everybody wants to toss that term around, and they don't know what it really means. You want a definition of gross negligence? I submit to you the Houston Texans and how they've handled this.
And it's absolutely terrible. Now when you read some of the stuff, and the thing about this Deshaun Watson case is, I do want to caution people, if you're faint of heart, do not dive into this. Do not get involved in this, because every step you get in, it just gets dirtier and messier and uglier, and it's gross. This is some of the grossest stuff I've ever read about what they're saying he said, what they're saying he asked, the stuff that he asked for and the stuff that he did. So we've already stated it's not criminal. What he's asked for is not criminal. But when you read some of this stuff, you really have to ask yourself, it's really the moral aspect of it. of what's moral. Like when you read it, when I read some of the stuff, I cringe when I read this stuff. And to that point, I'm actually working on, and well, obviously I'll come on here and promote it when I get it. A friend of mine, and I'm not going to throw her name or her organization out there yet because I have not heard back from her. But I am contacting a good friend of mine who runs a group that counsels on sexual abuse and all of that. I'm working on getting her to come on my show and explain where all this goes, because I'm in no way an expert, and I'm in no way or shape or form can I put this into perspective, but I'm sure she can. So I'm working on getting her to come on my program, and I was meaning to talk to you when I hear from her. If she's willing to come on my program, I will definitely try to set up a three-way and try to get her to, come on this program as well.
That would be awesome,
because I know she'd be the perfect person. She actually helped me dissect the Urban Meyer story, and I'm sure if I can get her to come on, she'd be the perfect person to explain all this. But that's where it comes down. That's where it comes back to me is moral. It is, we have to look at this. Is it everything that he's done is absolutely not, it's not your moral sensibility.
Right.
And you have to ask ourselves, is the NFL able to actually are they able to police that? Can they police our morality?
Mm-hmm.
Because what's morally offensive to me may not be morally offensive to you or to anyone else.
Right.
It's clearly subjective.
It really is. To the comment section, and that critical Broncos fan says the perfect thing. You talked about Florio earlier. Florio has over an hour and two on Watson and like 5 minutes of the teams involved with him. Hypocrisy at its finest, which is what we're talking about here, folks. It's exactly what we're talking about. John, again, says those notes are so sticky that it needs those snow scrapers you use to clean your car. Ain't that the truth? And there's more sticky stuff coming out. There's more sticky stuff coming out. I'll give it back to Dietz in a moment. Sick Diggy says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sick Diggy. Thanks for joining. If you can find it in your heart, please donate to the program, paypal.me/snowman2172. I'll talk more about that a little later. We're talking about we're talking about the hypocrisy and the moral judgment that the NFL is trying to pass down. If you were in charge of the NFL, Dietz, and you were going to throw a suspension at Deshaun Watson, how long would it be and why?
To me, what has gone on right now, if I were looking at a suspension, I would have to look back to what Ben Roethlisberger got. And I believe Roethlisberger got 8 games. If I remember correctly, Roethlisberger got 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
And so to that, using that precedent, I would set it up at that. And I would go with that. Not only because also you have to take into account this is also a guy who already lost a year. He already lost a year of play.
Yeah.
So as far as suspending him, I'm actually not. I'm actually one of those people. I'm not in the camp of, hey, suspend him. Hey, make him play for free. Yeah, he can play. Yeah, he can play. But guess what? Your salary is getting. We're going to fine you and whatever the amount is, and that way you're playing the game for free. Like you're playing the game if you want to play it. And if you don't, then you choose to sit out. It's your choice.
Mhm.
That to me seems fair.
Yeah.
Because
And that idea I like, making him play for free. That idea I like, because the Cleveland Browns gave him an exorbitant contract and guaranteed a lot of money up front. So you wipe part of that out with however many games you suspend him, and then you say you can play, but you're just not going to get paid for it. Whatever games we were going to suspend you, let me correct myself. Whatever games we were going to suspend you, we're going to make you play on your own dime and not ours.
Because that's really what a suspension means. A suspension means that when they don't play, their contract goes to pay in the NFL. If you say a guy's suspended for 4 games, it means that 4 of their game checks go into whatever fund the NFL has for that, and they usually donate it to some charity or whatever. But that's what the suspension means. It means they're not getting paid, and they suspend them from the game because they think, oh, well, that's good because people won't see them. Well, who really cares? I really don't care about that.
Yeah.
Like, I know Deshaun Watson's there. Everybody knows he's there. It's and to me, if you just keep him, you put him on the field, he plays, and you take his money. That to me seems the fair way to do it. But
make it like a work study.
Yeah, I'm sure
you make it like a work
I'm
study.
sure that. Yeah, I'm sure there are people out there that will say, "Oh, but you're still letting him play, and you're still letting him have fun." Like, who cares? Who cares if he's sitting on the bench and watching his team play? It doesn't do anything but hurt the product.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts the product of the NFL. So if you're sitting there saying, "Well, we're going to suspend you from the game because you're a detriment to the NFL," well, the detriment to the NFL continues when you keep him off the field.
Yeah, it's like you make it like a work study back in college. You see the check, you sign it, and the league takes it. And that's exactly how you would handle it. I like that idea. I absolutely like that idea. A little bit of house cleanup first. Chris Dietz joining us here during hour 1 program. I may invite you know what? I'm going to invite you back because Wednesday is usually your day, and I really, really want to dive more into this, but we got so much more to cover. So Dietz, let me invite you back Wednesday for an hour 2 for a second part to this.
Absolutely.
And that second hour, I think I got you scheduled for 10:05 Eastern time on Wednesday. So come on back Wednesday at 10:05. Do some more digging. You can plug the hell out of Fifth Down Sports Show. And I would love to have you back to dive more into this. We'll pick it up from how you would suspend or handle Deshaun Watson. And I'm going to throw this out there. And people are going to think I'm a sellout for saying this, but I can tell you a lot of black people are happy that he wasn't criminally charged, which is true. But when the suspension comes down, they're all going to go nuts. And they're going to reference he wasn't criminally charged. So why are you suspending him? They're going to go absolutely crazy. You've thrown people under the bus. I'm doing the same thing. Let's just keep it all the way real. I'm like this. If the allegations turn true, then he's a monster and he needs to go. But they're all allegations as of the moment. But I'm not going to excuse Deshaun Watson either. And I'm going to say this out loud. And Chris, you've ridden the show with me for 6 years now. You know I keep it real in all aspects. There are a lot of black people that are going to get mad for Deshaun Watson putting himself in that situation. I'm not excusing what he did. What we're talking about, and this is where a lot of people, black, white, whatever, will miss, is the hypocrisy that's going on in this case. Am I true or false with what I said?
No, that's absolutely what we're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
The blame for this is clearly on Deshaun Watson. As you said, he put himself in a position.
Say that again, please. Say that again, please. Okay, and the reason I want you to say it again, there are a lot of people, and I'll say it again, there are a lot of black people that are going to call me a sellout for saying Deshaun Watson, and Cole has said this, Wise has said this. Deshaun Watson put himself in that situation. Say it again for those in the cheap seats, please.
He deserves as much blame as anyone for this. He's taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it is or not, he put himself in there. I mean,
right.
We can sit here all you want. There are plenty of ways he could have. Gone about getting a massage other than the way that he did. There are ways we know. There are ways we know we're supposed to act in public settings and in other settings. There are just things that we know we're not supposed to say and not supposed to bring up in that environment. He put himself in an environment where he put himself here. No one made him go to no one made him go to these people and get a massage, and now they're using it against him. No, he did. Mm-hmm. He did all. He deserves as much blame as anyone wants to give. What we're saying is, for as much blame as you want to put on Deshaun Watson, the same amount of blame needs to be put on the Houston Texans and their organization.
Correct.
Because if there's plenty of evidence that they did solely, they did concoct some part of this. That evidence is out there. That evidence is out there. And third, if they didn't know, third and worse, if they did know these were happening in 2017, how did they keep these from becoming light? And why did they only become light after Deshaun Watson said, "I'm not playing for you guys anymore"?
Right.
Those are the questions. Those are the questions Roger Goodell needs to answer. And we all know Roger Goodell, he doesn't work for the NFL. He doesn't work for the players of the NFL. His salary. So if you want to tell me that Roger Goodell is going to be as hard on Deshaun Watson as he is on Bud Adams, you're absolutely out of your mind.
No,
and that's what we go for. That's what we in the media should be. And I'm calling myself part of the media because I do have a show. But the people in that press room, they should be asking, all right, Deshaun Watson, you're going to suspend him for 2 years. What are you doing with the Houston Texans? How do they get to skate by this and he doesn't? That's what needs to be asked. Is why does one person get slammed and not the other? Because you can't have it both ways. You either have to slam Deshaun Watson and the Texans, or you slam nobody. And it's that simple. You can't split it down the middle and say, well, we punished Deshaun Watson. No. You need to punish the people who let this happen, who let it get this far.
That would be the Houston Texans. That would be the Houston Texans for engineering all this. And this is what we've talked about all morning. Chris Dietz joining us here 10 minutes before hour number 2. This is indeed going to be an abbreviated version of the show because we are celebrating a holiday today. While we have these 10 minutes, what's frightening me is that Deshaun Watson's going to feel the hammer and the Texans are not even going to get a slap on the wrist. That possibility is out there. And you got fellows like Mike Florio that, John said it best in the chat, and I'll get to the chat in just a moment. Florio has an hour or two on Deshaun Watson and less than 5 minutes on the Texans. You want to talk about hypocrisy at its finest? There it is. Watson's going to feel the hammer. I just have this feeling that the Texans will not. That scares me.
And I have a feeling that even if they do get punished, what have we seen people get punished for before? We've seen, the Patriots did something, and what did they do? They took draft picks from them. I'm not talking about taking draft picks from the Houston Texans because that doesn't help anybody. I'm talking about
it doesn't. Thank you for saying that. It doesn't help anybody take draft picks away from the Houston Texans. What the hell is that going to do to not only prove a point, but also show that they were complicit in their engineering of this?
And you can go back to other sports, and we can use other sports as precedents here. George Steinbrenner and the Yankees. When George Steinbrenner was causing trouble with the Major League Baseball, what did Pete Rozelle do? He threw him the hell out and said, "Get out! Yep. You need to take a seat." And George Steinbrenner took his lumps, sat behind, came back, and was able to get back with the Yankees. That was fun. Donald Sterling, when he was running his mouth and the NBA didn't like it, what happened? The NBA said, "Hey, pack your stuff and get out." Yep,
they told him to beat it.
We've seen it in other leagues. So I'm saying other leagues have done this. If this goes unchecked, if Roger Goodell lays the hammer on Deshaun Watson and lets all of Houston, lets the entire Texans organization skate on this, he loses all credibility. And that's why I say, where's DeMaurice Smith? He should be at Deshaun Watson's side every step of the way here. And there's no question.
We've seen nothing from DeMaurice Smith. We've seen and heard nothing from DeMaurice Smith.
And
that should tell you. And I hate to say this. And I hate to say it this way, but I keep it real. Not seeing DeMaurice Smith by Deshaun Watson's side tells you everything you need to know.
It tells you that the NFL union is a joke. It is. The NFL union is the worst union in all of sports. They don't even stand with their own people. And as I was just saying,
exactly.
You can stand next to Deshaun Watson and stand up to the commissioner in this. You can stand up to the policy without standing with Deshaun Watson saying and without condoning him. What you're doing is making sure the process is fair. That's the single job. The job of the union is not to say whether a guy is right or wrong. It's to say the process was done correctly.
Exactly.
And if you look at any of this, The process has not been done. The process has been the worst of all.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
where is the union? Where are the union people?
Where's
Where
the union reps? Where are the union reps when you need them? That Critical Broncos fan, NFL Plus Morales, that's a 404 error. That's the truth. Cool McCain joining us this morning saying, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Cool, to you. Sick Diggy said the owners union is like a boys club. Roger Goodell's credibility will be scrutinized if he doesn't address the Houston Texans organization, which he's not going to do. He's not going to address the Houston Texans organization. We talked about DeMaurice Smith. Hopefully he is working behind the scenes, but not likely. I don't think it's likely either. And Sick Diggy poses a great question as we close hour one. Will the players union stand up on principle? Dietz, I'll throw it to you first.
On what principle? They don't have any.
Thank you.
They let this. You can go back to the Adrian Peterson case, where they let the commissioner get away with that, and once he got away with it, he gets away with it once. There's your precedent. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, that should tell you everything.
Whatever I want because it's detriment to the league.
Yeah, and that's the hammer they're going to drop on.
Crap. If Newton is not a detriment to the league,
and they're going to drop that. They're going to drop that hammer. Coming up on the hour, 4 minutes before the hour, Chris Dietz joining us here on this Monday. Dietz, come on back Wednesday, 10:05. We'll pick it up from here.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you so much, my friend. I love you. I appreciate you, and we'll dive into this more on Wednesday. Want to give you a little time to do some more research as I'm
you guys.
We'll recap Wednesday. We'll recap it, and then more Dietz bombs coming Wednesday morning. Thank you, partner. All right, we're coming up on the hour. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, hour two will begin of Snowman in the morning. Jay Spiveey will join me at the bottom of the hour. But I have something to get off my chest. I have a couple things to get off my chest after the break.
This is Snowman in the morning.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
If you can celebrate Christian McCaffrey having a 1,000 season, if you can celebrate Marshall Faulk, who had a 1,000 season by electing him into the Hall of Fame, then why can't we celebrate the guy who originated the 1,000 season with a Hall of Fame election? I'm talking about the one and only Roger Gray.
If you want some, come get some.
Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning. Snowman in the Morning.
Welcome back. 1 minute after the hour on this abbreviated edition. Yeah, can't talk this morning. Abbreviated edition of Snowman in the Morning. It's time for hour 2, and it begins like this.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Mister, will you please wake up?
Here's a 2-1. And that's driven deep to left center field. Gardner is going. Looking up. See you later. And back to the World Series. Jose Altuve walks on one-run homer. And the Astros beat the Yankees 6-4. Win the ALCS 4-2.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Can't wait. Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
I believe it because I watched it and I saw it. And that's the great Robert Ford that is into our number 2, the fabulous voice of the Houston Astros and a very good friend of mine. Why do I have this look on my face? Because I posed a question earlier in the show, and I'm going to tie it in. Trust me, I'm going to tie it in. But I saw something while perusing social media that just flat out pissed me off. It's about as bad as the blasphemy. So I gotta.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him, and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight. For the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronze Sexual Confessions.
And I just saw something right now, courtesy of my buddy Nate Ward. Oh my. So I'm going to shift a little bit here. I can't believe it. Nate, thank you. Here, I'm going to send him the link to the channel, and I'm going to point out what he just sent to me. And I'm going to do that right now. Because, like I said, I saw something that just plain pissed me off. You know, Sick Diggy said it in the chat so many times that LeBron is so much about him and not about the team. But what I just saw a moment ago, courtesy of Facebook. Okay. Reads as follows. LeBron versus the best duos in the post season. So let's go down the list, shall we? LeBron James, 11,035 minutes, 7,631 points, 2,391 rebounds, 1,919 assists, 454 steals, 10 finals, 4 titles, 4 MVPs. The duos that they have on this chart: Scotty and Mike, Shaq and Kobe, and the Splash Brothers. What they mentioned here with MJ and Scotty: 6 finals, 6 titles, 6 MVPs, 4, 3, and 3 for Shaq, 6 finals, 4 titles for the Splash Brothers, and they made sure they put one finals MVP, and of course that was grabbed by Stephen Curry. More on him in a moment. This is where Cole, being so creative, and I'm sorry he couldn't join me this morning. This is where these bronze sexuals are absolutely tone deaf. You know what this thing says to me? It says that LeBron never, ever trusted his teammates to get him championships. Ever. Now, I'm going to throw some people under the bus, and they're not going to like what I'm going to say, but I don't care. He ruined Dwayne Wade. He's ruined Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and there's an asterisk next to that. Lord knows he's ruined his latest Robin, being Anthony Davis. So you're going to put LeBron's individual stats against 3 of the greatest sets of teammates ever. Lord knows you could have put Magic and Kareem on this list. You could have put Julius Erving and Moses Malone on this list. You didn't even bother to consider the Celtics, the Larry Bird Celtics. And for that, I have this.
You're a stupid dumbass.
And I'm holding nothing back today. Dumbass. And you're going to you're not even going to consider those Bird and DJ or Bird and McHale or Bird and Parrish. Really? Really? You're not even going to consider them? David's been in street clothes though prior to LA. True. But it's him getting with Lon rather, that made it worse. I will always be of that contention. The Shady Sports Network joining us this morning. Where do you find samples? You find the funniest stuff. That's my executive producer, Cole Johnson, finding it. All I do is make the suggestion, and he does it and he takes it from there. Now, I can't believe I'm going to mention this. I can't believe I'm gonna mention this. But considering the fact that A, it's a short show, and B, this has been on my mind since the weekend, I gotta. And I know I'll never get these brain cells back because of what happened, but what the hell? So, I had a conversation with a broad sexual. And it was off this original post. Top 10 players in my eyes. MJ, from 1 to 10. MJ, Braun, Kobe, KD, Magic, Julius Erving, Curry, Bird, Hakeem, and Kareem. Now, y'all know I got all kinds of problems with that list because Kareem should be 1 or 1A with MJ. Bird should be in the top 3. Julius Erving, top 5. Same with Magic. I think later this week I will do my own list. You know what I said to stir the hornet's nest? I said remove Braun. So Devin Jeff Daniels decided to jump in on the fun and say, quote, no, I didn't do that right. I didn't do that. I didn't do that right at all. Devin Jeff Daniels said unto me, quote, take the hate out your heart. Anybody says Braun not top 10 has zero basketball IQ or knowledge. Close quote. Oh, he didn't just go there, did he? Did he? My response was simple and was the following. Quote, Braun is not top 10. Hell, he's not even top 100. No hatred. I've just seen better. Which I have. So the Braun sexual responded with the following. Quote, you can't be this brokenhearted over another man. Close quote. Let me read that again. Quote, you can't be this brokenhearted over another man.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
You for real?
Right.
And again.
You for real?
And
Bitch, are you for real?
the conversation continues. I'm not. As I said, basketball-wise, I've just seen better. And I can literally name 100 players that I've seen play better than LeBron. I mean, hell, we've seen LeBron before. His name is Magic Johnson. With the titles and the skills and the fundamentals to back it up. You said not top 100, Devin says. You haven't seen 100 players better than LeBron. If you think you have, you don't know anything about the game of basketball. I will read that again. Quote, you said not top 100. You haven't seen 100 players better than LeBron. If you think you have, you don't know anything about the game of basketball.
Bitch, are you for real?
You're a stupid dumbass.
Teddy.
You for real.
Doctor.
Right.
I sincerely wish I was making this up. I sincerely wish I was making this up. Unfortunately, I'm not. These people actually believe what they're saying. They actually believe what they're typing. Dear God, I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. Now I'm going to pose a question, and there's only one way to answer this. Is LeBron James really a top 100 player?
Woo! Hell no! To the no, no, no! Hell to the no! Hell to the no! To the no, no, no! Listen.
Thank you. And again, to that bronzexual that thinks Bron is number 2 all time. He said, you must have. I said, I've forgotten more about the game of basketball than you've attempted to study. And I indeed have seen 100 players better than the flop James. And going back to his argument of I've forgotten the game of basketball, he said, you must have, because you've forgotten everything you knew. I've been on a Pulp Fiction kick this weekend, and only one line comes to mind for this bronzexual.
English, do you speak it?
Apparently they don't. So bronzexuals, I need 2 favors from you. Just 2. The first one, please, in the name of everything that I hold near and dear to my heart, stop the cap. Just stop. Stop it, please. Because y'all don't know any doggone thing about the game of basketball if you continue to hold this guy who is not fundamentally sound in the upper echelon of basketball players. And the second thing that I need y'all to do, and believe me, I got more on Wednesday. I just had to do this one, especially with an assist from Nate Ward. Just do this for me, please.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Know your role and shut your bleeping mouth. Because everything that comes out is some grade A, homogenized, Holstein BS. Period.
In a world where logic and sense flies completely out the window, while purple and yellow glasses are donned, rises a figure who encourages ridiculous, undying loyalty. Rises a figure who encourages Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. This has been yet another installment of The Bronzexual. The Bronzexual. Confessions.
Because he changed lives. My ass. let's go to the chat. And I know I've missed quite a few. Oh, man. All right. I know that Cole Sports isn't here, but do they really want to hurt you? Do they really want to make you cry? Yes. I was quoting Culture Club there, and I'm so glad you did. I have to admit, once upon a time, I was a fan of Culture Club and wore that song out. BS3 Network says, good morning. Good morning to you, Ben. Sick Diggy one more time. You said it right there, Snowman. Skills and fundamentals, two things lacking in many players today. It's all about cool moves and highlights. Oh, truer words could not be spoken. Sick Diggy greeting the BS3 Network. And Ben says, LeBron can't be over Kobe or Kareem. Bless you. The most indefensible shot is that sky hook. Sick Diggy one more time. LeBron James may be number 2 in all-time scoring, but that doesn't mean he's the greatest of all time. Amen to that. Amen to that. Ben says, facts. Snowman, that's asking too much from these bronzexuals. It's like talking to toddlers. Yeah, and I've raised a couple of them, and I got quite a few of them called grandchildren. They have to learn the hard way, and they're too hard-headed to learn anything. And he's got more. Besides, a lot of these bronzexuals will dismiss older folks with, okay, boomer. God knows I've been called that. Lord knows I've been called boomer. All right? What gets on my how do they say it? Old show coming to mind, In Living Color. The guys that did Men on Books, whatever. You know what gets on my last good nerve? Is the fact that these bronzexuals will look at the highlights from the old days. They will look at the players from the old days. And they just wave it off like, so? I reference Eddie Murphy Raw. Quote, yo, man, Michael Jackson's man. I'm like, so? That's how these bronzexuals are to me. And I know I closed the segment, but there's so much more. How did Cole put it? It writes itself. It does. It writes itself. Bronzexuals are just plain sad, says Cool McCain. No truer words spoken there. No truer words spoken there. Jay Spiveey coming at the bottom of the hour to talk all things Charlotte Hornets. We're going to stay with basketball. And I have to ask this. Oops. Lost my cushion back here because I've had a lot of back pain lately, and I got to make sure that stays under control. The question I opened the show with in lieu of the whip around. Is Steph Curry finally in you guys' top 10? With a lot, that answer is split. It's split. Some say yes, some say no. Some say he will never get there. And y'all know the group of people I'm talking about when I say that. But he's got a finals MVP. He's got 4 championships. And he also gets this from me. I begin with a statement that's going to piss a lot of bronzexuals off, and I don't care. Stephen Curry has had a bigger impact in 13 seasons than LeBron James has had in 19.
What?
Stephen Curry has had a bigger impact in 13 seasons than LeBron James has had in 19.
What?
You heard what I said. But some of these people, bronzexuals included, are thinking,
Are you for real?
here's why I say what I say in this Snowman's take. Why do I believe that Steph has had a bigger impact in 13 years than LeBron has had in 19? It's pretty simple. Steph Curry took an anomaly and turned it into a weapon.
You for real?
For real. You know what that anomaly was? The three-point shot. He's worked on it and worked at it and worked at it and worked at it. And finally, with his election of the Bill Russell Finals MVP, he and the Warriors told the rest of the league,
have a Coke and a smile and shut up.
of course, that wasn't a complete sentence, but we are trying to be family friendly here. And the way he came into the league after the with the injuries and the questions of will he be durable enough? There was a game he played at Madison Square Garden where he lit the Garden up with 54 points, 11 3-point field goals. And it made 19,591 at MSG say one word collectively.
Damn!
Period. And since then, he's been on a quest. He and the Warriors using that three-point shot. And you know what the greatest thing is? They don't need to shoot as many threes as they do. It's just part of their strategy. It's just part of their strategy, man. And to a lot of these basketball fanalists, all I got to say is this.
You can't handle the truth.
Thank you, Jack Nicholson. I made a prediction. With this championship, this is not only the one he'll get in this part of the Golden Empire. This is not only going to be the first of two, but three. I believe the Warriors are strong enough and they're ready to do something only the Lakers have done recently. And we're talking 2000 through 2002. And that's when 3 in a row, they're finally ready to ascend to the top and become that golden empire that Jalen Rose said very well. Draymond Green told Kevin Durant, we can win without you. So Durant left. And then the Warriors said,
Oh, you were finished. Oh, well, allow me to retort.
and retort they have with this dominant championship. And remember, they had to go on the road to beat Memphis. That's the only series where they did not have home court advantage. And the Suns were busy getting a foot put in their ass. Will the Phoenix Suns be back next year?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To Listen.
Nope. Not happening at all. Not happening. Now you got those people that are going to respond and argue. You know, if the Suns were if the Suns were healthy, they'd be in the championship. You know, if the Suns were better. No. I don't trust Phoenix. I don't trust Denver, even though the Western Conference is going to be loaded. The only thing stopped Milwaukee was an injury to Chris Middleton. That's it. That's it. The Boston Celtics are going to be around for a long time. A very long time. And as far as LaFlop James and the Los Angeles Lakers go, my retort is simple. Say it again proudly. This championship by the Warriors will not only be the first one, and not only the first of two, but three. That's Snowman's take. What's yours? Now, you got a Snowman's take you want me to hit? Do me a favor, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Got a break, and then Jay Spiveey will close things out. And Kenny Atkinson thought about coaching the Charlotte Hornets, even agreed verbally. But then he thought, nah, I'm good. Jay Spiveey will help me discuss Snowman in the Morning on BS3 Network and YouTube TV and on all of our audio networks. And you can pick up the podcast on Odyssey. I promise I'll have it all updated today. Back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire. Don't let a hamburger. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Let's save the world one day at a time. Smokey Bear. Podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
If you can celebrate Christian McCaffrey having a thousand season, if you can celebrate Marshall Faulk who had a 1,000,000 season by electing him into the Hall of Fame, then why can't we celebrate the guy who originated the 1,000,000 season with a Hall of Fame election? I'm talking about the one and only Roger Craig.
Want some? Come get some. Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning.
37 after the hour. Thank you all for joining us on this abbreviated Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. And Jay Spiveey has now joined the broadcast. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. I have to laugh at the Charlotte Hornets because Kenny Atkinson agreed for a while to be their coach, but after winning the NBA World Championship, he said, nah, I'm good. I'm staying where I'm at. And my question is, do you blame him?
Yeah, I know you and I were texting over the weekend about this one thing, and as I've told you many times before, this is a bad job. I'm from North Carolina, and obviously I want them to do well, but it is a bad job. And there are obviously going to be way better jobs out there this summer. They start coming open. I think he understood that this is not the best job in the world, so why go for it if you don't have to?
Exactly. You know, he's their top assistant. Mike Brown will be headed to Sacramento to coach the Kings, and that's going to be a better setup than what's going on in Charlotte. I mean, you and I both said they made a mistake in letting James Borrego go.
They did, no question. I don't understand why they got rid of him. It makes no sense. I mean, they're going to, as I told you before, I hate to be so repetitive, but they keep drafting right in the middle of the first round every year. You're not going to get a good player that way. And no top free agents are going to come there. And for whatever reason, I have no idea how they keep doing this. They're in salary cap purgatory every year.
Every year. I mean, this hasn't resembled the old Charlotte Hornets when they were able to get Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson and Muggsy Bogues in the fold, and Alan Bristow was their coach, and they actually were building something. The last 2 years, they make their way into the play-in round only to get blown to smithereens. There is no kind of advancement right now with the Charlotte Hornets.
Well, the league has changed so much in those roughly 30 years since the Hornets really at the top of their – but mainly because so many of these guys want to play together, and you're not going to get 2 or 3 top free agents in Charlotte. You're just not.
Right. I mean, their latest venture, Gordon Hayward, does that tell you anything?
Well, who's going to want – I mean, nothing against Gordon Hayward, but how many – if you pick 2 or 3 other guys, how many guys are going to want to play for Gordon Hayward?
Right.
And he's always hurt.
And LaMelo Ball is going to play out his rookie contract, and I think he's going to leave. He may even leave before.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he doesn't seem to be as bad as the others, but I hate to put this moniker on them, but if you're a Ball, you're a headache for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
It started with their father.
It did. And he's trying not to be, I mean, bless his heart, he's trying not to be. But you can see the cracks. You can see the cracks coming out, and it's not good.
And everybody, especially the beginning of the year, especially the last 2 years, really, talking about how exciting this team is. Well, what have they done? They've done absolutely nothing. I mean, playing in a play-in game is not the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't care what the NBA is. It's not the playoffs.
It's really not. It's really not. And people want to make it so, oh, they're in the playoffs. No, they're in the play-in round. Take the attitude of the Golden State Warriors. They couldn't win a game and they had 2 shots at it. And Steph Curry said, quote, "You don't want to see us next year." And that year just passed and they won the world championship. Why? I mean, they continue to draft in the middle of the round. There are no great prospects in the middle of the round. And half of these kids are playing 1 year in college and they're done and they're not ready.
Yes. And the East is really good right now. And they're kind of just a middling team right now, for lack of a better word. They just are.
They really are. And that's one reason Kenny Atkinson decided to stay in Golden State. And I think they're going to lock him up for a while they search for an assistant to replace Mike Brown. And much success to Mike Brown. Looking at how this season just concluded with Steph Curry after the Memphis play-in game saying, y'all don't want to see us next year. How did Boston fall apart so dramatically after that dominant win in Game 3?
Well, roughly, I mean, it's not his fault altogether, but it falls on Tatum because he's the so-called leader on the team. It just does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll repeat a stat that I've said before, and I will continue to say: 23% from 2-point range.
That's awful. That's just awful.
And I only saw him post up 5 times in the entire 6-game series. He had an advantage on whomever was guarding him, but he didn't take advantage of it.
Well, so I mean that just goes back to not just NBA, but all levels of basketball. Where no question, Steph Curry's changed the game, but not everybody's Steph Curry.
Right.
Not everybody who's 6'5" should be shooting 3-pointers, or 7 feet should be shooting 3-pointers. I mean, it's just sometimes you watch a game, especially during the regular season, it's almost unwatchable because you're firing up 100 3-pointers. That's not how the game was created. No. If you watch a game and they pass it around, not necessarily the perimeter, but all quadrants of the court, it's a beautiful game to watch if you play it properly. But some of these guys,
which is why I love watching teams like the Bulls and Golden State and San Antonio, because they actually pass the ball. The ball hops around, as television voice Bob Fitzgerald would say. The ball hops around, and it's not with Golden State. It's not even the 3-point shots that kill you. It's the backdoor cuts that kill you.
Yes. And you can't. And nobody can shoot mid-range jumpers anymore. And the presence of a big post player inside, that's non-existent anymore. That's not how the game was meant to be.
No, it's not how not how the game is
not
meant to be.
Not everybody's Curry. And nobody ever. I mean, he's like once, other than maybe Larry Bird and Reggie Miller and maybe a few others. How many guys could shoot as well as they can?
Once in a generation player, once in a lifetime generation player. I've said it on this program, and you were with me when I first said it. Steph Curry took an anomaly and turned it into a weapon, and Cole backed it up by saying the Warriors took that weapon and turned it into a strategy. Every other team of the NBA has tried to copy that strategy with very little, if not no, success at all. And I'll say it again with the Warriors. It's not just the 3-pointers that kill you. It's the fact that they will cut back door all night long. Yep. And if you let them, they will slice you to pieces.
And I get nothing against Steph again, but where were we? I mean, without Klay Thompson, they were nothing. They were nothing.
Exactly.
And he was gone for 2 years. I mean, they were terrible without him. So you gotta have some pieces around you.
Mm-hmm. And to think they get their big man James Wiseman back, who has been working. Yeah. He's putting on some ball. They're gonna find. I really believe they're gonna find another big to help out matters, kind of like an Andrew Bogut type. I'll have to see who's available in the first round. But everyone's not the Spurs, the Bulls, or the Warriors, where you can find someone in the middle of the first round or later, or in the second round, i.e. Draymond Green, and turn them into an integral part of not just your current team, but your franchise. Not many teams can do that on a consistent basis.
Well, obviously, Draymond's a huge part of the team, and he's been a part of this run since it started. But you may put him on another team, and he's not nearly as effective because his role changes on another team.
And you know who the Warriors signed? Excuse me, that became very effective. Andrew Wiggins.
Yes, without question. Had a great playoff run, especially a great championship run.
And how big has Andrew Wiggins been for the Warriors since he's been there? And what's bad? They called him a bust.
Yeah,
they called him a
that's
bust.
what I was getting ready to. I mean, he was never a great player until he came to the Warriors because they have pieces around him where he doesn't have to be the centerpiece.
And you have Steve Kerr, who's a brilliant basketball mind. I mean, look who he learned under Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich. And he took all those lessons. He plugged in Andrew Wiggins, and the other player that they plugged back in for this season that really helped him in terms of his leadership, Andre Iguodala.
Yes. Well, look at you were talking about Steve Kerr. Look at all the rings he has.
9
the
of
Bulls, the Spurs, and now the Warriors.
4
and
with
he's
the
obviously
Warriors.
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and he was supposed. This is the funniest thing about Steve Kerr. He was supposed to be the coach of the Knicks, but saw that handwriting on the wall after one meeting.
That was a brilliant decision on his part.
Yeah, 4 championships later.
You're right. Everybody thought he was going to go to the Knicks.
Yeah,
I think he made the right decision.
It was a foregone conclusion that he was going to be the coach of the Knicks, but then his spider senses went off, and he said, "No, thank you," and backed out. Best decision he ever made.
Well, that's like what I'm talking about with the Hornets. It's not a good job. It's not a dumpster fire like the Knicks are, but it's not far from it.
And they can't seem to get the right players. They can't seem to. Let's go.
Well,
up
it
top.
starts
They
at the
can't
top.
seem
Their
to-
owner is a horrible owner. The Knicks have a horrible owner. They just do.
Mm-hmm.
They just do.
I mean, what has to turn around for the Hornets? What has to turn around for the Hornets?
I
to make
really
this
think they
job?
just need to tear this up and start from scratch because I just don't understand how you have these guys and they're in salary cap purgatory every year when none of them are great players.
Right.
That's
right.
like
I mean,
I just think you just need to tear this up.
Do you cut everybody and just
You
start
almost
from the
have
bottom?
to. You almost have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, it produced a comment in the comment section, and I'll go over this later. Cool McCain said Borrego should have been given one more chance or one more time. Hornets need to get guys entering their prime, and unfortunately, they will have to overpay. You got to build a better roster as well. That's the point. That's what Borrego was trying to do before they fired him. He was trying to get the right pieces in place.
It's a mess. And it seems to be a common theme with the pro teams in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, the Carolina Hurricanes got smacked by the New York Rangers in Game 7. We spoke on that a couple of weeks ago. We don't even have to mention the the Carolina Panthers and what's going on with them. But we're going to, because we're having fun here. Jay Spiveey from North Carolina joining me here on the program. And speaking of the Panthers, are they really going to re-sign Cam Newton?
The tea leaves sort of look that way, but I just do not understand why.
Are they really? I've been
I
reading
know this is a stretch. I know this
tea.
is a stretch, but
Go ahead.
I know this is a stretch, but when I told you guys last week, again, I'm standing in my living room at home, and I'm not sure he could really throw across my living room. And you're going to ask him to be a pro quarterback? I mean, seriously, the guy can't throw anymore.
So
His
why are they going to
career
re-sign
is
him?
done.
So why are they going to re-sign him?
Again, like you said last week, to put pennies in seats. And he's not near the player he used to be.
He really isn't.
I mean, when he came out last year, first of all, it was stupid to sign him. Just stupid to sign him.
That's to put asses in the seats because they're empty. They're empty seats at Bank of America Stadium.
But when he came in, and I guess he scored. I mean, he scored twice or 3 times from the 1 yard line. How hard is that? Mm-hmm. And then of course he pulled out that stupid Superman routine, which he's not Superman, never has been, and never will be. What has he ever done except for 1 year?
One. Just one, and not even a full year.
No,
and not even a full year. 8 games at most.
I laugh so hard when people say he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. No, he's not.
No, he's not even close to being a Hall of Fame quarterback.
But there are a lot of people who are. There are a lot of people
you and I know one of
them. He is.
You and I know one of them.
Oh yeah.
You and I have both been played. You and I have.
I wouldn't put him in the expert category.
You and I have both been ripped off and played to the left by that same homer who calls himself an expert.
Yes.
Now I'm not afraid to throw anybody under the bus this morning. I mean, the truth needs to be spoken. You and I have both been ripped off and played to the left by this same expert who thinks he knows Carolina sports. And the bad part about this so-called expert, when he hears interviews that you and I do, he gets jealous. Ever notice that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, some of the folks I've had on my program. Listen, one of the insiders that I have for my Carolina college coverage is Connor O'Neill, a very dear friend. And of course, he covers Wake Forest.
I used to work with him at the West Journal.
You know what he did after I pulled my show from a certain network in February of 21? You know what Connor O'Neill did? He reached out to me and said he has a good time coming on my show, and he would like for that to continue.
Because he's intelligent and knows what he's doing.
Yeah. That's why I have him, David Glenn, you, quite a few others. Quite a few others. And I thank you for coming on, for always coming on to the show each week. You don't
ever have to thank me for that. I enjoy being on.
I enjoy having you. Jay Spiveey joining me here on the program. He'll be back next Monday. We'll talk more Carolina sports and we'll dig into the college section because by that time, July is around the corner. And of course, all the college teams are getting ready for their new season. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Snowman. Have a good week.
Jay Spiveey joining me here on the program. I'll tell you what, folks. The person that thought he could rip me off, I will tell you the full story of what happened. I'll tell you the full story. I was taping my show all the way for most of 2020 and for part of 2021. And I had my show on a network, and I'll say the network's name, Tobacco Road Sports Radio. You know, I was being ripped off by that network because they kept saying they were going to get me sponsors, and I would run the ads. I would run a total of 4 ads on my show. I'd plug them in, and I thought I would get paid for all 4 ads. You know, they only paid me for 1 each month. He only paid me for 1 ad each month. And that's stupid. So one Thursday morning, the same Thursday I was scheduled with that same network to do some football coverage, I pulled my show. I said, I'm pulling my show and I can't do the game. And I walked off. My wife looked at me, who is, I believe, is going to be in the air in about 5 minutes. She's on her way to a work trip out in Utah. You know, my wife looked at me and she said, best decision ever. Because you kept screwing yourself by being involved with that network. I run 4 ads, $50 a pop. I'm expecting at least $200 a month. You know, I only got 50. That's all I got each and every month. And I was so excited because I was just getting paid for the show. And I thought, hey, this could work. Wrong. Nah, I got bigger fish to fry. I got a new show that's on the way that I have to work on later today, which I will. I mean, I can't waste time, and I won't waste time. I just won't do it. I will not do it anymore. And I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for y'all being a part of the program. Let's clean up some comments before we go. Sick Diggy one more time in the chat says only time Cam Newton was ever close to being I moved it. I'm sorry, everybody. I pressed the wrong button. It's that I need to get rid of. There we go. Now to the comments. And Sick Diggy says only time Cam Newton was ever close to being Superman when he was a little kid and the superhero draws with a towel and a cape. Well, I've done that. Chris Dietz said, Sick, what about Auburn? Cam was pretty good then. Yeah, because he ran the ball. He didn't throw the ball. He only ran it. He wasn't a complete quarterback at Auburn, and he sure as hell wasn't a complete quarterback. Period. He wasn't. Anybody try to tell you different? Wrong answer. Wrong answer. All right. As I look at my guest list for tomorrow, scheduled to have the highlight reel with Al High. Going to plug in a couple of other things, and you'll hear a taped conversation with one of my favorite basketball players, Shanice Jenkins, a.k.a. CJ. We're going to tape that conversation tonight, and y'all will hear it in full tomorrow. Her dream has come true. She is a member of the Connect Son of the WNBA, and I saw this at Whitney Young. High School in Chicago. And she was behind another great point guard in DeFran Smart. But it was just something I saw with CJ. And I'm glad that she made it. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. Shanice Jenkins tomorrow on Snowman in the Morning. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, the hottest of hot takes and the coldest of cold, hard facts.